Welcome back to the sculpture, guys. I get a frequently asked question all the time is how I hollow out these water-based sculptures so you can fire it in a kiln. It's surprisingly easy. Right now I'm at the midpoint of the sculpture, and yeah, I'm turning her into a mermaid, as you can tell. So the way you need to prepare this is that you can't have one solid piece to fire. This one is thin enough that you could take a chance and even fire it as one piece slowly, but it's much better to have this hollow. I have this stick here, so that will create some sort of hollow inside. So if you don't somehow connect this, it's going to blow up on you. The idea is that you make this entire shape hollow. You don't have to go overboard. Like this part right here, the tail, I'm not even going to worry about it, but I'm probably going to scoop in a little bit here, definitely around the hip area, and maybe a little bit towards here. You really don't need much else. Right? You can scoop a lot from the base when it gets a little bit drier. So I'm going to show you really quick how to do this. It's not as hard as you think. Some people slice a sculpture right down the middle and then they'll scoop it all out. But I prefer to like dig little holes, little caves, and like hollow it out. I find it much easier. And it's much easier when you do it midway into the sculpture before you add finishing touches, textures, final details. So let's get started on how to do that. What I do is I take a wire tool like this, and what I simply do, I look for a spot where I can hollow out. So I don't have that much detail here, and I have already dug one in, but I'm just going to show you really quick what I would do. I would dig in a square like this. You can even make it bigger if you want, and kind of like to bevel it out. And you notice the clay is still soft, it's still malleable. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dig in as much as I can. But you have to be careful, and I've done this in the past, is that I get too carried away with the hollowing in, and then I come out the other side. And you can also make the structure a whole lot weaker, and your sculpture could collapse. So you have to be very careful. It seems horrible. You know, you spent all of this time working on your sculpture, and then boom. I've also had a couple of people reach out to me about doing this to pieces that are life-size. And the answer is, yeah, you can do it. You have to be consistent, though, from one piece to the other. My thing is that I would sculpt something large, and then I would cut it using a wire tool into pieces before firing and then hollowing it out. That way you can do it all and then you just glue it back together. That's how a lot of things are fired that are over life size or life size in a kiln. Even a small kiln, you can do that. So I'm digging a hole here, and I'm going to make sure that I dig it to the base. From here it might be hard because I have to go angle like this, but from here you want to make sure that this hollow here connects to this one, and then it goes into the base itself. And then after this dries, you're going to dig out a little bit more. So now I've connected this to the thigh. I can actually feel this go over to the other side, like that. So I am going to just dig a hole here, and I've already done this one before, but I'm going to go towards the thigh just a bit. And you see I've already dug the hole from here, and it's collapsing here. But the good thing about this is I can make it a little bit thinner. Make sure that you touch that base, and I can feel it on the floor there. Even from a little sculpture like this, you can get a lot of clay back. And that's clay that you can reuse. So instead of depending on oil-based clay and then making a mold, having chemicals in your house, I mean, this is like the easiest way to get a final product for your sculptures. Now we could think about where else we can dig a hole to connect this one. You can connect it here, dig another hole here in the tail. I'm not even sure I need that, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Just a little hole here. By the way, these are just here for support while it dries a bit. You don't want to go too far into the tail because you want this to be a support. If you remove too much, it'll collapse on you. A tool like this that's rough is what you need. You see it creates these textures. So I'm just going to do this on all the holes. On the tail here. Remember, I'm still sculpting this, so it's going to take some time. Now I'm going to take this lump of clay here. I'm going to get it nice and wet. You want to use fresh clay, not like me with the clay I just dug out. But I kind of know the consistency that I need. One of the problems that people do is that they don't get the consistency right. And then when the patch that you put in starts to develop cracks, remember it has to be the same thickness that you put into here when you remove it. So you want to make sure that you get this really rough, because this is kind of like act like almost like a vacuum. It'll seal itself. So get all the clay nice and wet, almost like a slur. I'm going to take a piece of clay like this, make sure there's no bubbles in it. Just do that. What I do is I just put it like that. Then I take a tool, I push it down. You can just use your hands, but I'm kind of used to the flatness because you don't want to go in too much on it. And for right now, I'm going to leave it nice and rough like this. And I'm just going to move on to the next one. Make sure it's bigger than the hole, like that. Start to push it. You don't want to push it too hard. It takes a little feel to it. This one's going to require a little bit more. See, it's kind of caving in. So I'm going to take just a little bit more, make sure it's really wet. I don't think I need that much. I'm just going to take it, put it there, and work it on the edges. Remember, don't push too hard where you remove the hole. I'm going to remove the support really quick. And there we go. I mean, you can still tell where we removed it, but this is the point you want to do it when it's a little bit on the fresher side. Guys, that's how you hollow out a water-based sculpture for firing. Very simple. Don't be afraid of it. Do it midway before you finish your sculpture. I hope this benefited you. If it did, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. We've hit 13,000 subscribers, which is incredible to me. So I really want to thank all you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.